Welcome to Social and Legal Norms with Narcissism, where everything's made up and the points don't matter. This year, you may have noticed a pretty common refrain when watching people discussing current events. He can't do that, she can't do that, quickly becomes, he can't do this, and she can't do this, which quickly becomes, well, he did that, and she did her thing. And there are no consequences. There are never consequences. Sometimes I think the only reason that police give out speeding tickets is to reinforce the idea that if you do something bad, there's a possibility that maybe there'll be consequences. We need to start recognizing that selfishness in public figures is a flaw, not a virtue. Most normal people want to abide by rules and laws when we hear them. As long as they don't seem absurd or silly, most of us assume that if a law exists, there's probably a good reason for it. Narcissists, however, are notorious for having low impulse control, which isn't to say that everyone with low impulse control is a narcissist. Lots of those have ADHD. I have consumed so much caffeine while writing this script. However, narcissists very much learn the lesson early on that if they just do what they want over and over and don't care about how their actions affect other people, people get really tired of telling them to stop. Nobody really wants to hold a narcissist accountable. Honestly, whenever anybody talks about holding anyone accountable, I get very suspicious because it's generally a sign that they're the real problem. Normal people don't want to spend every second of every day telling someone to stop. We all give up. Most people who consistently follow the rules and behave by norms, at some point they got caught when they stepped out of line and they had corrective actions taken by their parents, by teachers, whatever. And they never realized that if they would have just pushed a little bit more, people would eventually give up and let them get away with anything. Add to that since narcissists typically don't care much about other people, and certainly not in the same way that most people do, they're much more comfortable lying about things. And who wants to go fact check whether or not you really did steal someone's lunch from the work fridge? Nobody really wants to do the work of proving that somebody did something wrong. Even the cops. Things have to be pretty bad for the cops to be actually willing to look into evidence. A narcissist who either inherits a large amount of wealth or who acquires it in our legal system, it typically becomes nearly unstoppable as long as they don't do something that really pisses off a bigger narcissist or other disordered person who fixates on destroying them. Normal people don't want to destroy anyone. They may want to believe that they could, but when the rubber meets the road, most of us are just like the hero in a movie who at the climax chooses mercy over actually solving the problem long term because we need the villain for the sequel. It just wouldn't be the same. Really, until we wrap our heads around the idea that some people are really bad and they're typically going to be the people telling you that other people are bad, we're going to keep putting them in charge of things. Continuing to govern by a popularity contest while not understanding narcissism will always bring us back to where we are now. I think people want to believe that he's a one-off, and he's not. He's a very extreme example and he's oafish, but the way that we talk about people who want to be in charge typically faults them for being human and having flaws. Popular narratives in society position people who accumulate wealth as good and responsible, failing to realize that people with extreme wealth, they don't work harder than thousands and thousands of people. They don't even work smarter. They typically just get very comfortable with stealing. We idealize comfortable thieves who don't get caught.